Well, holy smokes, everybody, what the flippity flip flap flop is going on at the Federal Reserve. There are some huge dramas now going on at the Federal Reserve amid ethics concerns after Federal Reserve Chair presidents were caught insider trading, buying and selling stocks during the 2020 market crash, and also during 2021 they were buying and selling when they knew what they were about to do would have huge effects on the markets with insider information. But of course, they always say, it's a rule for thee, but not for me. So in this video, I'm going to go over the latest news, what these Fed chairs did, and also the timing couldn't be more perfect. And is it just a coincidence, everyone, that they will be selling all their stocks just as the market hits all-time highs? What did you say, Master?
Dump it.
Okay, everybody, let's get into it. Well, have a look at this, everybody. Feds Kaplan and Rosengren to sell all stocks amid ethic concerns. So I guess if it was us, it would be called insider trading. But for central bankers and governors and senators, it's called ethic concerns. Oh, and listen to this, everybody. Shots fired. Critics warn reputational damage to the institution is done. Well, can I get a hallelujah? We already know that the Federal Reserve's reputation is done. And we already know everything that Jerome Powell says, everything that central bankers around the world say. They don't say the truth. They say what will lift up confidence, what will lift up the economy, and what will lift up the markets. They'll never truly warn us of the dangers that we're in. They're always going to talk on the positive side of things to keep lifting confidence, because the whole financial system and the dollar relies on confidence.
Well, it's far too late and that the damage is done. This is as the Fed has been boosting their monetary stimulus, and it's deemed really to have been your question on the specifics of their investments. Well, Eric Rosengren, for his part, he disclosed that he'd been buying and selling 4 real estate investment trust shares. And this raised some concern and raised some eyebrows, because he'd been one of those warning about the commercial real estate market and that it could be overheating. He'd actually been advising the Fed to scale back some of its mortgage-backed security purchases at a quicker rate than treasuries to avoid some of that overheating. As for Robert Kaplan, well, he'd been buying and selling shares of the iShares floating rate bond ETF. Now, this tracks bonds with maturities under 5 years, which we know the Fed can impact those prices and have influence over them through the Fed funds rate.
So everyone, what they're saying there is that these Fed presidents, one was buying real estate investment trusts because he knew that the Federal Reserve was going to start buying more and more mortgage-backed securities, which they've been doing. And also Kaplan, he started buying corporate bond ETFs, because what did the Federal Reserve do last year that they've never done before? They started buying individual companies' corporate bonds. That's just pretty much an IOU for companies. They can issue a corporate bond at really record low interest rates right now, and normally investors would buy it. But at the time, investors didn't want to buy any corporate debt because there was just so much uncertainty with the economy. So the Federal Reserve said, okay, I'll come in and I'll buy up all your debt. So then pretty much it's just more like a backdoor bailout, and we'll pay whatever price. And so Kaplan knew this information, and he started investing in this, knowing that these corporate bond ETFs would go up in value. But listen to this, everyone. So the presidents of the Federal Reserve Banks of Boston and Dallas said they are selling their individual stocks holding by September 30th in moves amid quenching ethical concerns over their trading activity last year. Well, again, everybody, the damage is already done to their reputation, and they've already made huge profits, and it's already looking like in September that it is going to be a weak month historically for stocks. So this could just be a perfect excuse for them to sell out at all-time highs. Do they know that the Federal Reserve tapering is going to lead to a stock market correction, or that valuations are getting crazy? Or do they know there's some other kind of black swan event coming, like what we're seeing with the risk in China, with the big, huge property developers that are going bust, that could default? Defaults in China, which I'll do a video on soon, are at record highs. There's so many risks that are happening at the same time. Inflation as well, and the risks that they may have to lift interest rates sooner. This just may be the perfect time for these Fed presidents to get out. And people, it's not just these Fed presidents that's been doing. Look at this. So this also happened as well. 4 US senators sold stocks after getting insider information about the threat of the coronavirus in January. So again, rules for our politicians, our banking elites, but it's different rules for us. If this was us, we'd be thrown in jail. But for them, they just say, look, that was a bit naughty. Don't do that again, please. So there's some more shots fired here. Everybody listen to this. So this happened at a time when they are being roundly criticised, and to the extent which the policies have made the rich richer. You need to question the optics of what these guys were doing. It doesn't shed positive light on them. And listen to this, everybody. It really shows that the bankers and the governments work together because it's a revolving door. People get jobs at Goldman Sachs and they go into government, then back, like we were seeing with Janet Yellen. So it says here, Kaplan, a former senior Goldman Sachs executive, showed multiple 1 million plus transactions last year as the US economy was hit by the pandemic. So you can just imagine him at the Federal Reserve's meeting and just be like, hey guys, sorry, I just got to take a toilet break, after he hears how bad this pandemic is going to be, and hear him hitting the sell button. And then later on, when they announce these huge bailouts, this huge quantitative easing, he goes in and he buys everything at the bottom. So everyone, what does this mean for you and me? They may actually be selling their stocks for other reasons besides ethical reasons. Right now, stock prices are at all-time highs. Valuations are at all-time highs. Many banking institutions and many bulls, long-term investor bulls, are now saying that a correction is due. September, October is normally a bad month for stocks. The economy is slowing. Asset prices have accelerated to levels that's causing risk to financial instability. The Federal Reserve has announced it is going to start tapering its balance sheet by the end of this year. And with the latest producer price index numbers with inflation and inflation not being transitory or temporary, they may hike interest rates sooner, so then the stock market will have to price these rate hikes in. But what do you think, everybody? Do you think this is just a coincidence, or they're just, really sorry and they are selling it for ethical reasons? Now, for all my loyal viewers and subscribers still watching, you're awesome. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.